Hello my friends, and welcome to another video with the Law of Attraction Tarot reading for February 14th. Happy Valentine's Day through February 28th. The tarot deck that I use, that I'm reading from, is the Law of Attraction Tarot, and this is by, I always want to say her name is Marina Rovita. I don't know why I can't say her name right. And Simone Gabrielli is the person that depicted the cards. And as I showed you in the past, these cards are a little different. Their meanings are very different, yet still some of the same with a normal tarot. On that note, I decided to do this for the 14th to the 28th because I wanted to try to do weekly readings, and somehow I just don't seem to be able to get that balance yet. So forgive me, this time it's going to be for the 14th through the 28th, and hopefully the energies that we're working with over the next couple of weeks will prove true for you. It'll give you something to think about, work towards. Use the energy, use the cards, the meanings of the cards to try to help you navigate through the waters over the next couple of weeks. It's really funny. I sit down and I shuffle the deck, and I have some angel cards too by Doreen Virtue that I usually pick one from, and I just sort of center myself and start shuffling, and I choose cards, whatever the universe decides to deliver. And it's always, I don't know, it's always amazing to me and surprising for me when a card pops out and I go, oh my God, that's why I see that now. So, as I want to say, today is Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2019. I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is about love, absolutely, between, you and a partner, you and your children, you and your parents, you and your pets. But it's about an energy, heart-centered energy, some of the strongest energy on the planet. So enjoy that. Enjoy your heart-centered energy. Enjoy your heart on Valentine's Day. You don't necessarily have to share it with anyone else. And if you do, even better, because that's twice as much energy going out into the world. So when I chose my first card, I chose an angel card from Doreen Virtue's deck. And the card that was drawn, this is one of the cards that I thought was so amazing, is the Moon card in the Major Arcana. And this card speaks to important psychic insights, events behind the scenes, release your fears that hold you back. So this was the first card drawn, and ironically enough, on the 19th of this month, in a few days, we'll have a full moon, a full supermoon, and it's called the snow moon. And this moon is actually going to be bright and look full from the 18th of February right through till the 20th. So I thought that was pretty significant that this card was the first card I drew, and that this month the full moon will start on the 18th, is actually at its fullest peak on the 19th, and then goes through the 20th, and then starts to wane after that. But I thought that was pretty cool to have that happen. And it's going to be the brightest of the year, actually, for 2019. Full moons for me have a couple of different connotations. Full moons, of course, means that the moon is full and it's at its ending cycle. It's ending a cycle. I've always looked at a full moon as the end of a cycle. Maybe it's a cycle of energy that was produced at the new moon, something you wanted to put into effect, something you chose to start at the full moon. And, you should start to see, not so much see it come to fruition at a full moon, because sometimes it takes a little longer than that, but you should start to see the effects of it in your life at the full moon period. And know that that's the end of the past cycle of whatever you had planted the seed for. And this is the fruition of it, the building up of it. And with that, I thought it was pretty cool that the next card I drew, if you can see it here, is the Two of Swords. And swords are fire energy. They're a movement energy. This particular card talks about facing our shadow side. And at a full moon is probably about the only time in the night that you can actually see your shadow. And I'm going to read a little bit from my notes here. So you can see he's looking at his shadow, and his shadow is pretty scary. He looks pretty frightened by what he's seeing on the shadow side of himself. And it's a restlessness. It talks about facing the negative part of yourself. We all have a positive and a negative. But this talks about being on the road to awareness. It says on the road to awareness, you'll have many doubts, and they will test your desires to change. But the one thing about that is by testing your desires to change and questioning them, you'll solidify those desires, legitimize them, and you'll face that opposition, I guess, is really what it's all about. Facing the opposition within yourself. If there's something that you want to do and you have a fear of doing it, facing that fear is facing the opposition. Moving forward is pushing the desire through. And I have to keep this card up for a second, because this next card that I pulled here is the Two of Cups. And I thought that was pretty significant. So now we have two twos in a row. And this particular card talks about the yin and yang. This talks about the meeting of yourself, the soulmate card. It talks about your thirst for love. It talks about strengthening yourself, strengthening your desires. Talks about being a soulmate and the love part of you, finding that love. But you can find that love within yourself. And isn't it funny that today, the day of love in the United States, with Valentine's Day, that this card was pulled in conjunction with today's date, and it being a two. And it's usually two people that have a deepened love relationship that actually is significant within their lives and in the world. Let's see if there's anything I'm missing here. No? Yeah, by questioning your desire, you'll strengthen it. Then we go on to the next card I drew was the Seven of Wands. And I usually draw 3 cards for a week, so it's the beginning, the middle, and the end, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way the energy will flow. Sometimes it's backwards and forwards, and sometimes it's in the middle going backwards and forwards. With the Seven of Wands, though, this talks about success and benefits in all fields of your life. Let me see. It talks about congratulating yourself that you have reached your desired goals, but you don't want to stop. Like, she's sitting in front of a weaving machine, and she's weaving just as we weave the patterns of our life. We weave ourselves in different directions, and the fabric of our lives is weaved out of the connections we make, the people that we meet, the loves that we share. In here, in this particular card, it talks about, again, it's wand energy, fire energy, but it talks about achieving your goals, but not stopping with those goals that you've achieved. It's nice to have goals, and it's nice to plan, but you don't stop living your life once you've achieved a goal. At that point, then you're seeking a new goal or looking for something new to form in your life. The next card I pulled, which is really cool, and this is, believe it or not, in the Law of Attraction deck, this is the Death card. And this is a beautiful card. I love butterflies. Butterflies are one of my favorite, favorite things on the planet. I think the fact that they come from a caterpillar and take however long it takes in a chrysalis to turn into this beautiful butterfly, this is a transformation. This card talks about transforming yourself, about change, about being open to the changes, and that you're going to fly in a new direction. It talks about the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another. And isn't that kind of ironic, because we're talking about restlessness and facing your fears, and once you face your fears, you're able to open up to your desires, and you're able to transform yourself and move in a new direction. The next card chosen was another contemplative card. This is another major arcana card. This is, in this particular deck, believe it or not, this is the Tower card. Tower cards are sudden change. The tower being struck by lightning. This gentleman is wearing a red coat, which is significant, and he is in a storm. And the lightning strikes that tree in front of him, and it causes him to stop in his tracks. And the Tower card talks about a sudden change in life. It talks about confronting your fears. Here again, the same with the Two of Wands. You're confronting your fears or your shadow side, but your shadow side are your fears in most cases. So you're talking about, a lot of looking at things that have held you back the next 2 weeks. A lot of things that have maybe need to be transformed in your life, and they haven't been yet. The last card chosen is the Knave of Coins. And you can see this has a lot to do with the brain and cycles. And, if there's one thing I've learned about the Law of Attraction, that 99% of what we do is in our brain. It's in our thoughts. It's the thoughts we process. It's the subconscious thoughts that we have underneath the surface that sometimes will sabotage our lives, move us forward, take us back. Our lives are lived through the reality that we see with our eyes, but it's projected from what's going on within our mind. I don't know about you, but when things are going great in my mind, things are going great around me in my life. When things aren't going so great in my mind, then things don't always operate on a level that I want them to in my life. That old saying, if you get out of bed and stub your toe, then you squirt the toothpaste on your blouse and spill the coffee, and it takes you a little bit to get your bearings straight before you can switch that thought process around. This particular card, though, this card, the coins, coins, of course, are money, and it's earth energy. And this talks about the thought process in your mind about money. Maybe a lot of people are focusing on money right now because it is the end of February, going into March, and then into April. Here in the United States, we do taxes. We have, taxes to think about, and it's winter, so we're starting to wonder about spring and vacations and planning, financially for some of that stuff. But this particular card talks more about judgment, and how you judge money, your financial judgment. What do you think about money? How do you feel about money? How do you judge people that have money? Do you feel that money is is good or bad? Do you feel that it's evil? Do you have a good relationship with money? Do you have a not so good relationship with money? All of that is coming from up here, your relationship with it. You can change that by looking at money in a different respect. Understand that money's a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper until you put it to work for you. And then it's you taking that piece of paper, putting it to work that gives it the energy and the life force that it actually has. Because without you putting it forth, without you utilizing that piece of paper in the way that it's meant to be used, it's nothing but paper, and it sits in a drawer or your wallet or a bank, and it doesn't have any energy. And a lot of people stagnate their energy with money by hoarding the money, by being afraid to spend it, by being afraid to enjoy it. It's nice to have a nest egg. I totally think that that's important. But it's also nice to have a healthy relationship with money, to know that the flow of it can come and go. And, and it's heart-centered. It's heart-centered. What do you spend your money on? The things that make you feel good, the things that give you comfort, your lights, your heat, your water, your food. You buy the foods you like. You enjoy the dinners, the wine, or, whatever fulfills you. And that's where that financial abundance, prosperity mindset has to come into play. As I said, you have a shadow side that you need to face. Whoops. You have desired goals that you can achieve. Oh, and that soulmate that you want to spend time with. That's energy. Buying a gift for that soulmate, chocolate, a rose, Valentine's Day, card, whatever. The transformation. We're all going to go through stages in our life as we change, as we age, as we go through different situations, good and bad. We transform internally and externally, just like the caterpillar to the butterfly. When you're going through a tough time, it's okay to pull yourself back in. It's okay to sit with inside and look at the direction you want your life to go in, and to set goals and to plan for your future. But just know that there's going to come a day when you're going to have to step outside of that cocoon, and you're going to have to spread those wings, and you're going to have to fly, and you're going to achieve those goals. And then, just like with the new moon, that cycle of your life will end and something new will happen. And it's nice when it happens in a comfortable way, but more often than not, it happens in a transformative way. Just like with the Tower card, lightning strikes and it changes in an instant. You're going to have to face that as well. When those moments arise that things change quickly, you don't want to let it throw you off your track, so to speak. You don't want to let it put you in a place of fear and stagnation. And that's a really good word. I know for myself, there are times when I stagnate. I don't want to move forward. I don't want to accept change, or I don't want to do some of the things that I know I need to do to make my life better. But lucky for all of us, lucky, blessed, whatever the word is that makes you comfortable using it, we do have the universe that steps in. We do have a loving, abiding energy that pushes us in a different direction. Something may fall apart in your life, but then someone better comes along to help you through that time. You might have to face the shadow side of yourself, but know that beautiful butterfly is on the other side. And for all of us human beings with brains, we have to remember that 99% of the time, it starts up here. It starts up here. The change starts up here. The fear starts up here. I do believe that oftentimes emotion is what moves us, whether it moves us in a positive or a negative direction. I do also feel very strongly that the planets have a lot to do with how we move in our lives, what happens in our lives. I can't for 1 minute sit here and tell you that there isn't something greater, some greater energy out there, because the moon gets full. It changes every day. Tides come in and out. The sun goes up and down. Our earth is constantly turning on its axis. And I don't know about you, but I don't get up and do that every day. That energy, that powerful, loving, God-force, divine, infinite energy is what's keeping us and this planet moving. And we just need to learn to utilize it. You know, we need to utilize it in the best way possible to move our lives forward, to keep setting goals, to keep pushing ourselves past our boundary, and to enjoy the time that we're here with each other. And with that, my friends, I wish you a wonderful, wonderful rest of February. I hope that this tarot reading helps you to find some small piece of something that will help shift your energy in a positive direction, or help you clear your energy up so that you can go forward towards a new goal. Please keep setting goals. Please keep looking forward. Don't let anything stop you in your tracks for too long. All of us have setbacks. All of us have days when we don't want to push those covers off and climb out of bed. But I know for a fact that every day you get up and you get out there and you meet other people and you put your beautiful, positive, loving, flowing energy forward, you're helping all of us on this planet. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. I wish you all a wonderful month, and I will see you in March. Thank you.